The mummified body of Imhotep is shipped to a museum in London, where he once again wakes and begins his campaign of rage and terror. Hello, welcome back to Inside Quotes, the show where my brother and I rewatches, reviews, and relives the staples of our childhood. This is episode 103, and I'm your host, Jeremy, and with me today is my older brother, Jonathan. Jonathan, welcome back to the show.
Quack, quack, everybody. Thanks for joining us on Inside Quotes. Jeremy, was that an impression of Breckenmeyer from Garfield?
No.
Oh, man.
That's the bit. That's the bit. I do the same one every time, and you're like, ooh, is that a...
It's on the tip of my tongue. Oh, it's so good.
That's even better. That's so good. Okay, we're doing that. All right, well, we're back with more mummy content. So if you've been looking for less Egyptian content, find another continent,
Yeah. We're practically Egyptologists at this point, which is a word I've learned.
I would say so.
Because it's all about the study of Egypt and their culture.
You didn't know that?
I mean, I just never really thought about it. It makes sense.
Didn't you see that huge book in the book fair like 15 years ago?
No, I was too busy reading the Calvin and Hobbes.
They had this huge, big old, I guess it's maroon hardback, probably one of the biggest books they had on sale, but it had like a jewel on the top with like the scarab beetle and stuff, and it said Egyptology. And I think they also had one for Greek mythology as well.
Okay.
And
now I'm picturing it.
Is it like one with piratology, and that one was cool because they had I don't know if piratology is the real word, but that's what they said in the book. But it had like a ruby as one of the skull's eyes. Like each one of these books had a jewel implanted in the cover.
Yeah.
And I didn't ever get that book. It's too expensive,
right,
I guess.
Yeah.
But maybe one day.
Maybe.
But yeah, the mummy has returned, and so have we. So
back with some more mummy content.
Here we are, Mav. The land of opportunity.
I mean, after watching the first movie, we're just like, we got to watch the second one now. Because it's been so long since we've watched these.
Yeah, we really didn't even feel like covering it on the show. We just wanted to watch the movie.
Yeah. We're like, even if we don't do it next, we're going to watch it.
And I think that might start a trend here. Because these movies keep getting worse and worse. So we'll see. But
we'll just see how it goes. I've never seen The Scorpion King, and I've only seen The Mummy 3 one time.
Okay. So The Scorpion King is a spinoff.
Right, yeah.
Of one of the main villains, like the new introduced villain in this movie.
Yeah.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
That's right. This is his first movie role, I believe.
This is first ever movie role.
I think so.
Jonathan Varda.
I mean, he did a lot of acting, in wrestling, but...
That's not fake, though. That's real.
We'll have a conversation later. It's a scam. No. This was his first movie, I'm pretty sure. And I was trying to remember how much he was even in it. And really, it's not a lot. He's in the prologue at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, that's basically all that is him. And then we'll get to it later, a CGI version of him at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And, he doesn't even have any lines in English. It's all just, ancient Egyptian subtitles stuff.
Here's what this movie does, Jonathan.
Okay.
This movie starts The Mummy Returns. No, this isn't a movie. This is not The Mummy. This is not The Mummy 2. This is not The Mummy Returns. This is... I guess it is The Mummy Returns, but... Anyways, it starts out as the Scorpion King movie.
Mm-hmm.
Then it goes back to The Mummy, the first one,
mm-hmm.
for most of the movie, and then it returns back to the Scorpion King.
Yeah.
But then I realized it's called Mummy Returns for a reason, so it's got to be mostly the first Mummy.
Right.
So
the plot in this one is a little convoluted, I think. I think there's a lot going on.
We watched this movie twice.
Yeah.
And my attention wasn't fully on it, obviously. But I still don't understand all of it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
the
think
first we wanted to watch the second time because we watched it the first time mainly for the vibes, but we were also just kind of like tired and kind of falling asleep.
Yeah.
At least I was. So I wanted to give it another watch before we recorded. Yeah, there's just a lot going on. Like, should we just get into it now?
Go for it.
There's this backstory of Anubis and the Scorpion King.
Right.
I guess Anubis is like a god or something, and it's like the Scorpion King made a deal with him, and now he's like the commander of this like army of Anubis or something like that.
So
that's part of it.
In Egyptology, Egyptian mythology, if you will,
okay,
Anubis was a god of mummification and the afterlife.
Riley, look up the god Anubis, please.
Riley, Anubis. Yeah, so he oversaw mummification, weighed souls, guided the dead into the afterlife, and defended against chaos and punished those who violated the tombs. He was kind of like a coyote or a wolf, like the things that were
the army
that was shown.
They looked like wolves.
That's what he was depicted as.
So there's this whole storyline with that, and I guess the Scorpion King goes into hiatus and to be like woken up again or something like that, and it's connected to this bracelet. It's like the bracelet of Anubis, right? And that comes into the story. That's kind of like the artifact that everyone's kind of chasing in this movie.
Right.
This one takes place 8 years after the first one, which I thought was kind of interesting because from what I remember about the third one, like they have a son in the second one, and then he's like a grown kid, like late teens or like young adult in the third one. So there's a lot of time in between each of these mummy movies that I hadn't really thought about before.
Maybe a little bit like Indiana Jones.
I mean, yeah.
Not really, but
the first three I think are fairly close together, and then like there's obviously a big gaps between the last two, but
yeah.
Anyway,
it's kind of weird. I feel like they didn't get super creative with the sequel, so that they threw in this new character for a little bit of fresh life into it. And I don't know.
He's really like not even the main, big bad really. I mean, obviously it's the Mummy Returns, like you were saying.
Right.
So there's the other subplot of the mummy is being brought back to life. And then there's this other side plot of the reincarnation of Evelyn and the reincarnated I don't know, Imhotep's lover from the past.
Yeah.
Like they're both like reincarnated in present day. Yeah, Marta from Arrested Development in the 1930s. That's like a new development that they decided on for the second one.
Yeah. It's funny that you thought I meant the villain and not. I was talking about the son as the extra character that wasn't really needed.
Oh, yeah.
This could have been the third movie.
I thought yeah.
They could have had a second one.
Mm-hmm.
But, there wasn't a lot of strong direction of this franchise. They just kind of went a certain way and went with it. But
yeah, I mean, I feel like the movie, it has a good premise. It's not like an exact copy of the first one.
Right.
So I think it stands on its own and it's a good sequel. It does have a few moments that are like callbacks to the original, but like I do think for the most part they're trying to do something a little bit different. Granted, they are bringing the mummy back, And
honestly,
Imhotep.
The humans are mostly villains. The villains too, though.
Okay. Say more on that.
Oh. Well, I feel like there's a lot of villains. There's the mummy, Imhotep, from the first one, and then there's the Scorpion King, and then there's the rest of the humans that they're trying to attack.
Yeah,
and steal the arm.
There's this other
Scorpion.
group, some kind of like cultish group or something like that. I kind of forget about them. I can't remember the name. I'd have to see it written out for Marta. Anaxunaman.
Anaxuman?
Anaxuman.
Anaxunaman?
Anyway, Marta, she's kind of like pitched at the very beginning as if she's like this kind of villain, like almost like she's leading these archaeological digs, and they're just kind of trying to find the location of where Imhotep's buried. So let's do a little unpacking from the first one. It's like they're trying to find his tomb, but wouldn't his tomb be in just Hamunaptra?
Right.
Like where he died, right at the end of the first one?
I don't know.
I'm kind of confused.
I was thinking because
it doesn't seem like they're back in the same place as the first one.
Right. Well, they said they were in Hamunaptra.
Oh, it does it?
It does say that.
At the beginning?
Yeah.
When those like scarab beetles attack everyone?
The entire spot is like dug out. That's why it looks different.
Okay.
I keep thinking that Hamunaptra is a pyramid, but it's not.
Yeah. Okay, so at the end of the first one, never mind. This kind of makes sense. It gets like swallowed up by sand, and
yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense. Now they're doing a dig.
And 8 years later, they dug it out completely.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that tracks then.
I don't know what that chrysalis stuff that he was wrapped in was. Maybe that's part of the thing from.
Some other unpacking from the first one is the O'Connells have a very nice house.
Yeah, they do.
And they must have gotten that from the money that Benny stole at the end of the first one. That he like took out to the camels, and then like he's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna go back for some more."
Yeah, you're right.
He goes back in and gets greedy. But like at the end of the first one, you see them like riding off into the sunset on the camels, and there's like a couple of like saddlebags on the side with like jewels and stuff. So I'm saying that they took Benny's money that he got and built that house or bought it.
Thank you, Benny.
Thank you, Benny.
That's funny. Yeah, I didn't think either of them were. I mean, she may have been rich before, but she was a librarian's helper.
Yeah, you didn't really get that impression.
But she's scholarly, and she's probably there because not for a job, but to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
Is there any other like unpacking from the first one? We need to just get you caught up to speed. It's 8 years later. They have a child now, named. I don't know his name because they don't seem too bothered to know him.
Do they really?
No, I'm just kidding.
His name?
I'm sure they do. Alex, right? Alex. Alex O'Connell.
Yes.
So he's a new addition to the cast here. I was just saying, like, he didn't matter because, like, at the very beginning, like, Rick and Evelyn are, like, so lovey-dovey, and they're just, like, not attentive to their child at all.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the first thing I would...
That was kind of funny.
Also, yeah, he's just on his own, and you'd think that they would pay more attention to the artifact that they just took.
Yeah.
And how, like, suspicious he was.
Mm-hmm.
And she was, like, tucking his shirt in and stuff and didn't notice the big bulge in his sleeve.
Yeah.
That he didn't have.
He had the bracelet on. So after the prologue, it kind of flashes forward to where the family is now in 1933, and they're exploring the ruins of that site of wherever the Scorpion King or some of that was. That's where they find the bracelet. And so it does show that there has been like some growth, I think, with Evelyn specifically, because she seems a lot more like action adventure like oriented than she was. Also, just kind of like a librarian kind of in the first one.
Well, yeah.
But now like they've been going on digs and like going through adventures together. Obviously, it's stuff from the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But she seems a lot more like capable and like.
I mean, she's had 8 years of experience at this point. I mean, she's almost like a different person.
Yeah.
Especially because I thought she was a different person at the beginning because she had a completely different haircut.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that was the same actress.
She had the smoky eyeshadow in this one.
Looked nothing like her. That's crazy. Anyways.
Just wait till you get to Mummy 3.
I don't think she's in that.
She did not return for Mummy 3.
Yeah. We'll save it.
I saw something that was talking about the guy that wrote this and directed it. He's like, he wanted to show a progression of like how the characters have grown and over time, but he wanted the character of Jonathan to have not learned anything over all this time. He just wanted to play him exactly the same. Like he hasn't learned anything. He's still just a, I don't know, clumsy, selfish guy. I don't know.
He's a good character, I guess. He is. But I want him to learn stuff.
Yeah.
I want some growth there.
He does have this moment where near the end when Evelyn's like, he's like, Jonathan, my son and my husband are down there. Don't miss. He's got like the gun or whatever, and like don't miss that shot. He's like, Evie, today is that day. But there is a good callback, I thought, at the beginning, because like they're exploring the ruins with their son Alex, and he knocks over like all these like pillars in like the temple room or whatever, and it's basically like a recreation of that scene in the library with all the tumbling bookshelves, but it's like all the pillars like going around him and knocking over instead of like all the bookshelves in the library. I thought that was kind of a cool little callback to say. I was like, oh, he's like mother, like son.
Yeah.
But when I think of this movie, I remember the scenes in London at the beginning, because that's very different than like a different setting. It's almost like it seems almost like modern, kind of like modern city almost. But them in the house, getting attacked at the house, driving through London on the double-decker bus.
It doesn't.
I kind of remember that.
It's all color graded to look like Egypt, so I can't tell. It's all at night, so it's like it doesn't look like they left Egypt. I don't know. I couldn't comprehend it if without them saying London.
Yeah.
And me paying attention to the movie, I would not have understood that was London.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The movie also, it takes a long time to like get into it. I feel like there's a lot of setup for this movie. Really does. Because there's the prologue with the Scorpion King. Then there's the first adventure, like it's kind of like when you start like a Bond movie or something. He's like in the middle of an adventure, so you're like catching up where the heroes are, currently. They're kind of already started something, and they're like exploring these ruins, and they're looking for, I guess they're looking for the bracelet. I don't know if they're actually looking for that, but
yeah.
And then they get back home.
They were, because they were all like, "Oh, he's supposed to be a myth."
Yeah, they were like exploring, but I guess I didn't really know what they were trying to find. So the other element is like part of the reincarnation thing is like Evelyn's been having these like dreams, I guess, and so I guess that's what like calls her there, and she's like, "Oh, why? Like, how come I know exactly where to go?" And she's like having these like flashes of like a past life or something.
Maybe it's not her.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she is still the mousy librarian, and the reincarnation stuff is possessing her to go connect fully.
Maybe.
Like a mummy would.
Yeah, I mean, like, she's still her own person.
Yeah.
Like with
she's
the Marta,
just got a Horcrux
with the Marta character, I don't know how you, I don't know. It's very convoluted, but there is a scene when like she remembers like she's been reincarnated, and she like seeks out Imhotep to like rejoin him, but she doesn't have like all those memories. And there's like this scene where he brings back her soul into the new body.
Yeah.
But that doesn't really happen with Evelyn.
No, but they do flash back.
But there is like flashbacks.
That she also,
because it's
spoiler,
connected.
she also has been reincarnated.
Yes, yeah. Spoiler alert.
So who's Brendan Fraser reincarnated from? Moses?
Well, they tried to do some new stuff with his character as well, to like say he was like one of the Magi or characers or something. That's like
true,
that.
Because he had the tattoo.
Because he had the
orphanage.
Tattoo. So like he was getting tatted up in the orphanage apparently.
Maybe he's just being secretive.
Maybe.
Oh, this whole thing.
That's
just from the orphanage.
So then after they get back from that first dig, they get back home, and then there's like an invasion at their home, and that's when Alex puts on the bracelet. And then that's when Evelyn gets kidnapped, and they take her to the British Museum. And the British Museum is where they have taken the tomb of Imhotep.
Yes.
And that's where he comes back to life, is at the British Museum.
Right.
And then they take their son.
Larry Daly was there, dude.
Yeah,
Man.
he would not have stood for that. Man, they could have used Brundon on their team. He's a top-notch security guard.
Yeah.
When I was watching it the second time, I was like, there's a lot of setup to this movie to get to the point where basically the O'Connell family is trying to rescue their kidnapped son from this returned mummy.
Yeah.
And save the world before Imhotep tries to destroy it, I guess.
Well,
Somehow the Scorpion King's involved.
I think one drawback from this movie, one
Mhm.
bad thing that is that there's just too many characters,
Mm.
good and bad. Like,
Okay.
it's just too confusing.
Mm-hmm.
You got Rick and Evelyn, and then they have a son, and then they also have the son's uncle, which is he comes back. That's
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan. And then for the villain side, we also have Ardith Bay coming back, Hosier, if you will.
Yeah.
So we've got already like a stack of 5 people on the good team. And then we've got Imhotep, Mila, Marta, I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we've got like Mr. Hafez, is what he's called. The dude with the huge hat that looked like Jafar. He was
Yeah.
like the main guy that was swiping the beetles away. And there's Lochna, was the guy that was watching the kid on the train.
Yeah.
I liked his character a lot.
He was good.
So we've already got 4 here, and then we've got Scorpion King 5, and then we've got those 3 people at the beginning, those British people at the beginning that were chasing them, which are sort of connected.
Oh, yeah, I guess Marta's character had hired them
Yeah,
to track them.
sub villains still.
So she must have known about Evelyn and
I think
remembered
so,
her.
yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
There's
8,
also a new
9.
they team up with
teams.
this new guy, Izzy, who's got the
Right, and he just comes out of nowhere.
floating hot air balloon pirate ship.
And he's basically the
Zeppelin.
World War I pilot that they had,
Yeah.
but he was dead, so they couldn't use him again.
Right. Yeah.
I liked his character a lot too. He brought some fun.
He was
funness to it.
funny. Yeah.
Just didn't expect a stinking hot air balloon treasure planet looking
Yeah,
weird.
that's always stood out to
Didn't
me
make
as
any
like
sense.
obviously this movie series is like supernatural and it's not
Right.
realistic. But like
But there's
that-
terms and conditions for each piece of reality being broken.
yeah. That one seemed like
And
a
that
little
doesn't
bit
follow-
too like fantasy
Yeah,
to
that
me.
didn't follow any of the rules.
But I mean there are things I don't know. The word for it is a dirigible.
A dirigible,
Yeah, like a gas
a gas balloon.
balloon type thing. Zeppelin. I don't know, but I mean, obviously none of them really would have worked like that.
Wait, so is it a real?
I mean, like there's like Zeppelins, right?
Right.
And so I feel like those would have been a thing around that time,
Sure.
but I just don't see one like a pirate ship like that one.
Yeah,
like,
that was
being,
tiny.
that was a bit much, I think, and like with the boosters and stuff.
Yeah. And none of those would survive explosions or sand
Mhm.
cloud.
Yeah.
I mean, how did the Hindenburg get destroyed? One little tiny washer, right? Or,
Yeah, I mean, all it takes is a spark, and those things
yeah.
they go up in flames. Yeah, I saw a review from Roger Ebert that I kind of agreed with, because he gave the first movie 3 out of 4 stars,
Right.
and he gave the second one 2 out of 4 stars, and he said the mistake of The Mummy Returns is to abandon the characters and to use the plot only as the clothesline for special effects and action sequences. So, like, you're saying there's too many characters, but I feel like there wasn't enough, like, character development with some of these new characters. And, like we talked a lot on the first one about, like, how much, like, all the side characters were, like, so memorable and so
right.
good.
Yeah.
And I feel like I didn't really feel that way with this one. I felt like, especially with, like, I mean, I guess, like, Evelyn gets a lot of growth and story in this
Yeah.
one. But, like, Brendan Fraser, like, he's just, like, the same guy. He's just kind of there running through scenes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like he's not as developed in this one. He's just kind of there, I guess.
Imhotep's the same.
Emotep, yeah. And we're just missing Benny. That's the big thing,
That's
though.
what we need.
We need a Benny.
I mean, you can't. Some movies can one up and do better as a sequel, but this is not as good as the first one.
Sure.
Shocker.
But still good.
I'll still watch
Still
it.
enjoyable.
If they cut it into one single movie, like an extended edition, that'd probably be better.
With the little epilogue bonus adventure at the end.
Yeah. Maybe not. That'd be stupid.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we've got plenty of movies to go after this. You know, we've got The Mummy 3. And that's it.
But, like,
No reboots.
What's crazy, yeah, right. What's crazy is, like, the Scorpion King, like, was the spinoff. And that turned into, I feel like that's had just as many movies as The Mummy, but
Guess
just
how
like
many movies they have?
4.
They have 5.
5.
And they're shooting a 6th one.
Wow. And they're
With
all like
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson returning.
For real?
Yeah.
He must be desperate.
Yep.
I know that was like a direct to DVD series for a while that just like, okay, no one cares about these, but someone does, I guess, because they keep making them. But
I doubt it'll probably be straight to streaming. That's funny.
There's no way Dwayne Johnson is coming back to do that without it being some kind of legit production. But it would probably be something for like Peacock or something
something like that,
like a direct
or Tubi,
because that's what they're all on Peacock right now because they're Universal.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense then.
So if he did something like exclusively for them, but
yeah, so we've got the Scorpion King.
He's doing like a return to wrestling too.
Is he really?
I think he's really desperate because I think he's really hurt his image in like the recent year.
Doing what?
Just being like super fake.
I mean, he's in Moana too. He's just in everything.
Yeah, well, like
that's what you get for stepping on my boy Brendan Fraser's Journey franchise, dog. That's what you get.
Yeah. No, I think like there was a lot of drama when he did that Black Adam movie.
Yeah.
Because like he basically like he wanted to do like a Black Adam versus Superman, and he was like, "Well, I'm The Rock, and like no one can beat me in a fight." Like he wanted that in his contract. Like he basically wanted to do this like power grab at DC and like take over DC, and for him to be the main guy.
Oh, really?
And I feel like that didn't really go over well. Obviously,
that's cocky.
And then there's just been other stuff. Like I saw something recently where he posted like a Instagram video of just like, oh yeah, me just trying like In-N-Out for the first time, and he's like in the drive-thru, and people like commented like, you posted like the same thing in a video like last year, and then like 3 years ago. Like he just keeps doing the same thing, and he's just always like trying to like comment some. He's just trying to sell his products. Like people called him like Dwayne the Ad Johnson because like everything he does is like a sponsor, whatever.
I've never been on board with Dwayne Johnson because I've just expressed my beef from however 2011, I guess.
Yeah, because he did Journey too. Yeah,
and I just put that connection that he's also in this movie with Brendan Fraser.
They've got some beef.
How they do because he was a villain.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I've immediately lost interest in every single Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson movie, even before I knew about the cockiness. So it's just so filler to me. Every single thing he's done has been filler in my mind. Maybe I'm wrong.
I guess I just watched something about him, I guess, recently. And they talked about he was doing like a little return to wrestling. And that actually, like for the first time, he was doing something. I think I could be wrong. He's doing something with like the Safdie brothers who did that like Uncut Gems movie. And he's like playing a villain. And he's like never played a villain in like a long time since like this, I guess. Like, cause he's always got like, I gotta be the hero kind of guy. But anyway,
remember that rap song he did a couple of years ago? That verse. It's about drive. It's about power.
Yes.
We stay hungry. We devour. Put in the work. Put in the hours. And we take what's ours. Yikes. And I mean, I'm going to say this right now. Maybe I'm biased, but I don't like Moana. I didn't really like that movie.
It was good. I don't know why we need. Well, I can see why they're even making a second one. I don't understand why they're doing a second animated one and a live action one at the same time.
They are not doing a
Yes,
live
they are
action.
doing both.
Why?
And The Rock is playing his character in live action.
What?
This is a thing. It wasn't that iconic of a movie for them to be doing that.
It is for kids, I guess. Ew. Moana live action with Zendaya? Oh my. Hollywood is AI generated. Anyway.
Shall we move on?
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna read off the names of the Scorpion King.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's do that.
All right, so we've got the Scorpion King, which came out in 2002.
Yes. This was a theatrical movie with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
The year right after this came out.
Spin-off
So
of The
1
Mummies.
year, exactly. So basically, they probably did a lot of the filming from this movie and that movie at the same time.
Probably, yeah.
Which is kind of cool. Scorpion King 2, The Rise of a Warrior.
Rise of a Warrior.
Came out 6 years later in 2008. Different director. Each one of these has a different director.
It's crazy. They just bring something back 6 years later. They're like, you know what? There was something there.
Well, 4 years later, in 2012, Scorpion King 3, Battle for Redemption.
Mm-hmm.
3 years later, 2015, Scorpion King 4, Quest for Power.
Wow.
And 3 years later, in 2018, Scorpion King doesn't say 5, it just says Book of Souls.
Scorpion King, Book of Souls.
And then the sixth one is TBA, because it was originally planned for 2020, a reboot almost.
Okay.
It's an untitled reboot.
Uh-huh.
But it's being produced by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see if that ever comes.
What?
Isn't that weird?
So he's producing it. That's crazy.
He's probably not in it. I mean, he's not in the other ones.
But that makes no sense. Why would he produce it if he wasn't involved in it? Why would you produce this direct-to-video series?
Maybe it's a passion project.
It's about Drive. It's about...
He hustles, dog.
Okay, well.
I've never seen a single one of these, and maybe we'll do one as a back burner. Maybe not all of them. Definitely not all of them.
I think we should at least watch the first one.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's crazy. I mean, there's more of those movies than there are of The Mummy, the flagship franchise, which is kind of interesting.
Okay, he's not even in the second one. He's just in the first one.
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. No,
I
he's
thought
not
he was in
it.
maybe the first three.
No.
Ew, these look so bad.
It was instantly recast. They're just
oh my goodness. Ew,
I just would see him on DVD in the Walmart movie section.
No, Dollar General movie section. That's what this deserves. Oh wow, that's weird. Dave Bautista is in the third one.
Okay.
That's funny.
Is he the Scorpion King, or he's just in it?
I don't know. I don't know. He's the top billed actor, I guess. But the third one also has Ron Perlman. Do you know who that is? He's got a very distinctive face.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, he played Heck Boy.
Heck Boy.
Oh, these are gross. These look so bad. And then, is that the dude from Modern Family? No, it's not. That would have been crazy. Yeah, why do all of these... Emmett Walsh is in it.
Oh.
He plays Gorak in the fourth one. Oh, these are so bad. Okay. That's enough. Wait, I gotta do the fifth one. I already looked them all.
Who's in it? Who's it gonna be?
Who's in it? No one that we know. Absolutely no one.
Say his name.
Who?
I don't know. Whoever's in it.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm saying that. There's nobody I recognize on this
Just
one.
say their name. Just give them a shout out.
Nathan Jones.
That's our cousin.
Yeah. That's our cousin.
All this setup
I'd
is...
name my kid Nathan.
Yeah. What about Joe Nathan?
Well, I mean, it's a little hint towards you. A little homage.
Okay, switching gears. I did See, there's like a ton of behind the scenes facts on IMDb about this movie, and I
Yeah.
scrolled through about half of them before I was like, okay, this is too much. But one that I thought was very interesting was, so the actor that played Alex O'Connell, their son,
Sure.
his name is Freddie Boath, Boath. And he was hired to do The Mummy, and he was like filming this early 2000s. And the behind the scenes story is he turned down roles in Harry Potter in order to play this role in The
What?
Mummy because he was such a fan of the first one. Like he said he had seen it
Yeah.
like over 30 times. He was like obsessed with it. And so like he was so excited to do this movie. And like anybody that had questions, like the crew or production, like that had questions about the first one, they would ask him and he'd have the answers.
Wow.
Like he was just such a fan of the first one. But apparently he was like already filming that, and I guess he got offered to. I looked a few different places. It didn't.
Chamber of Secrets time.
Well, this came out in '01, so it was.
Oh.
It may have been for the second one, maybe for the first one. I don't know.
Mm.
But the moral of the story, I guess, is that he decided not to go for an audition because he wanted to do this role of the Mummy the more.
Who could he have played?
And like I couldn't find anything like saying like he was offered any specific roles
Yeah.
or like, and the way it's worded is almost like he was already doing this movie and so he just didn't audition for this one. That's not like he said no.
Right.
But even if he got offered like a small, type character in a Harry Potter movie, like
He would have lived on forever.
you've got, 7 movies,
Right.
of work basically. And kind of, he didn't really do too much after this one. But so a lot of people
He
are saying
couldn't
like,
handle the.
it's like, oh, he
the
made the wrong
regret.
choice or something. But like, no, he got to work with Brendan Fraser, dude.
That is good. I'll say that. That's cool. That's
like-
interesting, because it's also funny because I made a joke saying he sounded like Draco Malfoy in this. Because
Oh yeah.
He's like, my father's gonna beat you.
Yeah.
So that's cool. He must be an Egyptologist because he's also in a TV series called House of Anubis.
I saw that. Yeah. That's interesting. Interesting connections.
Well, good for him. He's the Mummy's #1 fan. I'll
Mhm.
handle that.
Mm.
I'll hand that right to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Jonathan, I forgot. I was going to tell you about this. I wanted to say this in the first Mummy, but I do have a little bit of a history with mummies,
Oh.
if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when I was in 10th grade, I did world history, and we had to do a project on anything in history, I
Mhm.
guess. Like it was just, the teacher was like, it's vague.
Leave
just
me
any
alone.
concept that we've learned about this year.
Yeah.
As a final project, you could do it. And I was like, okay, I'll do mummification because that's cool. And I didn't really know what to do, and I was brainstorming with one of my friends, Leo Trimble, and he was like, dude, you should... What if you just, like, mummified a potato? And I was like, dude, yes. Wait, that'd be kind of hard. What if I mummified a banana?
Mm.
So I did. And I took it in, and I did a whole presentation and everything, and then they thought it was over, but no. I pulled out the whole, like, Tupperware thing and slammed it on the table, took out a banana,
Mm-hmm.
and then I explained the process of stuff. And I had separate jars with the separate whatever, like... I was basically explaining a WikiHow on how to mummify something.
Uh-huh.
But instead of using a person, I used a banana.
Mm-hmm.
And it killed. Everyone was so entertained by it, especially my teacher. He gave me 105% on that. 5 extra credit because he thought he's never seen anything as creative as
Nice.
that. And I can't take full credit for it because it was mostly Leo's idea. But
Yeah. But,
I went back a couple years later for something, and I saw him and my teacher, and he said, Yeah, I still show that as an example. I tell people, my kids, that every single year.
You're that guy.
I was the legend. I turned into
The classic
world history legend presenter, I guess.
Yeah.
So every example he would say, he was like, yeah, I had one guy mummified banana in this class, so you can step it up. So shout out to Steve Johnson. But yeah, that was fun. I think one kid said he was allergic to bananas, so I felt bad, but I didn't make him eat it.
Now, did you unleash any like curses while you were in this process?
No, it was a Christian school, so I couldn't cuss.
Yeah. Can't. You gotta wait till
Couldn't curse.
the bell rings 3:00.
Yeah, so that's my history.
Well, we've already pretty much talked about a lot of the movie. I feel like a lot of our thoughts on the movie. Another aspect that we kind of touched on a little bit in the first one, but we could go a little bit deeper on it, was the Mummy ride at Universal.
Dude, I just clicked on that tab.
Because we've been on like a theme park kick lately. Just interested in like the park we used to work at, like Busch Gardens and Tampa and SeaWorld and Universal, and just like watching like a lot of video essays and stuff.
I sent him an hour and a half long video essay on the history of Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay.
I watched it.
And
the whole thing.
It was so good. Oh man.
Very nostalgic for that place.
So yeah, we've also been into that. It makes me want to go see a theme park.
Yeah,
maybe a new one even.
Yeah. One of the videos I watched was like this epic universe, and just like how like Universal is just like upstaging Disney right now.
Yeah, I would prefer that. We've kind of said that before.
Yeah, I mean, we've always said we preferred it, but just like, yeah, I think
like
they're doing
Disney World, and they're doing a lot, but they're also charging a lot. And, I mean, I don't know.
But the Mummy, like, it's called, I guess the ride is called Revenge of the Mummy, and it actually ties in directly to the second movie,
which would have been the perfect title for the third movie.
Revenge of the Mummy.
Attack of the Mummy would be the second one, and the first one is the Phantom Mummy.
What if that just was the whole, like, it was like a breaking of the fourth wall of them trying to film a third Mummy movie, and like all this weird stuff goes on, and like Brendan Fraser's playing himself. Like, that's basically what's going on in like the pre-show video of the ride. It's like there's mysterious stuff going on the set of the Mummy. Brendan Fraser's trying to get like a cup of coffee, and he can't because he won't wear like the medallion.
So that's the pre-show ride.
Yes,
for Orlando, but the one in Hollywood. So the Orlando ride is basically like you're in the pyramid, you're in Hamunaptra, and you're getting attacked by a mummy, so you got to run. Mm-hmm. The one in Hollywood, the one in California Universal, whatever that one is, that one is like behind the scenes filming, and then all of a sudden, the ride operator is getting attacked. He's like, "There's a mummy!"
Yeah,
and it's like, it makes me want to go see it. I don't know if the Hollywood one is still around, but it is cool. Like, it's more of like a meta behind the scenes. Like, Brendan Fraser's completely involved with it. Yeah. Instead of just the pre-ride. But in this Orlando one is just the movie part.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Did I get that right, or I get the two switched?
Well, I just know, I've never been to the other one, so I don't actually know.
Okay. Well, regardless, the one in Orlando,
it's just like it's like an indoor. I guess they call it like a dark ride.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are good.
I like them.
Why doesn't Busch Gardens do more of those?
I think it would be good for them.
I guess they don't have the intellectual property for a lot. They'd have to come up with their own.
That's the tough thing. Yeah, I think a lot of those depend on owning movie franchises and IP and that sort of stuff. And Busch Gardens doesn't really have the money for that, nor do they own it. But
well, if you want to go down to Universal Orlando, you can use our promo code. We're not sponsored. 10, and you, as long as you are 122 centimeters or 48 inches tall, you can ride this ride. So
good to know. Good information there.
Yeah.
Thanks for looking that up.
No problem. I would love to do this Epic Universe. I think we should do a whole week there if we can afford it. That would be cool.
Yeah,
Not a whole week, a couple days.
Yeah. I think Islands of Adventure has always been like my favorite park.
Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of stuff. Like I haven't been back to Universal in a while. Probably 2018, maybe 2017. It's probably the last time I went. So, there's a lot of stuff that has been. There's a lot of back burner rides for me. I feel like at theme parks that I haven't gotten to go on yet. Like I've never gone to do the new Velocicoaster at Universal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and like I guess specifically like Busch Gardens. It's been a while since I've been to Busch Gardens, so there's a few different things that they've opened up there that I haven't ridden, and plus I kind of am curious to see what it looks like because they've taken out old stuff there.
Yeah, they have,
and they've changed it up. Like the tidal wave isn't there anymore.
There's
that makes me sad a little
coaster
bit.
there. Yeah,
but
tidal wave was so cool. That was like their closest thing to a Disney ride.
It's kind of like the Jungle Cruise a little bit. Actually, the Rhino Rally was kind of like the Jungle Cruise.
Rhino Rally was my favorite thing, dude. Oh man, that was the one thing I felt okay. It wasn't a ride. I was scared of rides, but I could go in a Jeep, no problem.
Yeah, just hop in the Land Rover.
That was great.
They drive you around the safari.
They even let some people sit up front.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to do that one time. I don't think we have enough quotes to do a quote off.
No, I don't.
On our
think
second
so.
episode doing that, so maybe we'll skip that. Well, we could do a little bit of one.
All right, let's do. Even though we'll just do a quick quote off.
Right. We got to.
It's not going to last very long. I prefer the Thompson.
Oh, this whole thing?
I have to use the bathroom.
That's a good one. That's a good one. This is my first time riding in a bus.
Jonathan, I said no wild parties.
Oh, I must have the wrong house. I think I might be out.
Yeah, time. The buzzer would have gone off. There's definitely some good. There's some good one-liners, and there's definitely some funny moments. One that I just thought of was those three like bounty hunter types that are kind of like tracking them at the beginning.
Yeah.
They have like the standoff with like the Jafar looking guy that you were talking about earlier. Mm-hmm. And they point their guns at each other, but like one of the guys is pointing it
right to his head.
One of his like colleagues, just right at the back of his head.
Yeah.
The other guy realizes it and just like moves his hand over a couple inches, so it's not. Well, that was
I think it's
funny.
time to call in Dad for help.
Yeah.
My dad's gonna beat you.
Oh, there was so I don't have a whole lot to say, but there was a Mummy animated series.
Yeah,
there was a cartoon
watching
series.
It. I didn't even know that existed.
It was on
First
the kids.
of all, can we just say that maybe I won that one?
Yeah.
Or did you win that one?
Yeah, I think you won.
All right, 2-0, baby.
2-0.
2-0.
There was an animated TV show of the Mummy. It was on the kids WB, and I'm not gonna say like, oh, I watched it all the time, but I do remember watching it every now and then, and feeling like really nostalgic for it. Even though like I didn't watch it all that much. But you can't really find it. There's like a couple episodes like on YouTube and stuff, but the quality is not very good, so it's just kind of hard to watch. But it's essentially, takes place I guess after the second one or before around the second one, because it's got the O'Connell family with their son Alex just basically like traveling the world and exploring different sites and stuff and different things. There is some kind of overall story to it, but I don't really know. I always thought that was pretty cool. And while I'm thinking of it, there was a show that I used to watch a lot, actually, that I am upset is not on Disney Plus, because there was a Tarzan TV show.
You're so right.
I used to watch that all the time, and it's not on Disney Plus. Like, I've looked for it. They just have like the Tarzan and Jane, you know.
And they also
Straight
don't
to
have
DVD.
Corey in the house either.
Yeah. Yeah. Still haven't gotten that one.
Disney Plus, come on, man. Yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah, that was
Tarzan and Jane was what it was called.
no. I think it was just a Tarzan animated series.
I thought it was called Tarzan and Jane.
Well,
Or there's a movie called.
there's
Tarzan and
like a DVD sequel.
Jane. Okay, yeah. That's a good movie. We need to do that one.
We really do. Yeah.
Oh man.
It's just called The Legend of Tarzan, and it had 3 seasons. But like that would come on in the afternoons. Like I would watch that in recess. Like
Yeah.
if we got home in time to like watch some of the kids shows in the afternoon, like I would watch that. Recess would be on, and Tarzan would be on after that. And I just remember I enjoyed that one. But the Mummy series, I feel like that's another one that's not streaming anywhere. I have actually seen it on DVD.
The animation made me want to watch Liberty Kids.
It was
It
very
looked just like it.
very reminiscent of that. Yeah. There's 2 seasons of the show. Rick O'Connell was voiced by John Schneider, who was the dad in Smallville
Also a country singer.
and Dukes of Hazzard,
Yeah.
and was the anchor in Snow Day.
Oh
The
yeah.
anchorman in Snow Day that Chevy Chase hated.
Yeah.
The character of Jonathan is voiced by Tom Kenny, who is SpongeBob.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, the Mummy TV series. It happened.
Let's hope the mummy doesn't return again. Well, that concludes our series, folks.
Does it? Question
No.
is.
Probably not.
You
But
think?
I was making a joke saying that most people hate the third one. So, and don't
Yeah.
consider it canon.
And I said it before, like I just don't remember it.
Yeah.
All I know, this is all I know is like it brings in like Jet Li is in it.
Okay.
So it's like I feel like it takes you out of like Egypt and into like Asia.
Yeah.
So it's like more Asian themed.
Yeah.
So
There's pyramids other places
so-
too.
well, yeah, I just feel like the vibes are totally different in that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really all I remember about it, and like the son being grown up. So
Yeah.
I do want to watch it. Whether we cover it right away, up next, we'll see.
That'll be a surprise.
We'll see. Well, Jared, we always talk about one day when we have our own podcast studio and we put all the little knickknacks and the little memorabilia from
Yes.
movies that we love in the background, the Easter eggs.
Exactly.
What is something from this movie that you would want to put in the background?
Best prop.
Like a prop
Okay.
or whatever. Something like that.
I mean, I feel like you kind of have to go with the scorpion arm.
The scorpion arm? What
Like
do
the bracelet.
Yeah, the bracelet.
The
Okay.
scorpion arm bracelet.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good one.
What are you
I feel like
thinking?
that's the main one of this movie.
I mean,
I
that's
do-
the obvious one.
But I do
what is-
like that like Star of David looking like key that they put into the book and like twist. They put it in the wall and they twist it.
Yeah.
That's
the
how they get the
Magi.
bracelet.
It's the Magi symbol, right?
I guess. I don't know.
That's right.
That's kind of
Okay.
cool. And that has a good like clinking sound as you turn it. You put it in the book and it opens
So
it up.
basically the key in
Yeah,
both movies.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have both keys in both movies.
Yeah. Those are both good.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Other than that, maybe like a double-decker bus or something like that. We'll just park that. No, I can't put that there because I've already got the night bus parked back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a triple-decker. But yeah, that's a fun game to just like, oh, what would you, something from this movie that you'd want to put.
That'll be
Put
a
up on the
classic
shelf.
repeating question too.
Yeah.
That'll be a good segment.
That's good.
All right.
Well, okay, so I think it's safe to say that we didn't like this one as much as the first one,
sure.
but I think we still both liked it.
Yeah.
You know, what would you give this movie as a score on Letterboxd?
I feel like 2.5 is too harsh. Because it's still a great movie. I'm going 3.0.
Just straight up 3.
3.0.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's there's some
That's-
things I hate about it and there's some things that I love
Yeah.
about it. And they even out very equally. Yeah.
I went 3.5 on it.
Okay.
but that's still like a full star drop from what I gave the first one.
Yeah.
That's a 1.5 for you.
4.5.
Because you did 4.5 on the first one, right?
Yeah, that's right.
The plot's kind of convoluted on it. I do enjoy most of it. And it's like they're trying to expand the lore in this second one by doing like creating this backstory of Evelyn and this reincarnation thing. Some people might not be that keen on that, but
I'm not really interested on that.
But I do think some people are probably. I do think there's a lot of fans of that because they like seeing her like take charge and be like do more action in this one and have more of a role than just like the typical damsel in distress. But she wasn't really that way in the first one either. We kind of talked about it like she was the academic, so she knew where to look, and like he was kind of the adventurer, so everyone kind of had their role to play sort of thing. But I did see that like Rachel Weisz and Patricia Marta, the actresses, they like trained like hardcore for their like fight scenes and stuff. Like there's no stunt doubles for that. Like they did that all themselves, and that's kind of cool. They trained for like months to be able to do that. So
that doesn't take months to do that.
That's what they did.
Okay.
They trained for 5 minutes to do that, and no. So
I will say my original review on Letterboxd is 2.5, which is crazy. I guess. Yeah. That's my gut, but I'm gonna bring it up to a 3.
Yeah.
0.5. Just because he convinced me, it's good.
I mean, you've got all the returning players. You still got all. It still has a lot of the vibes of the first one. It tries to do some new things with it. It doesn't all land, and we didn't even really complain all that much about the CGI rock. People
animation. Keep saying PS3 graphics.
PS3 would have been way nicer. It's more like PS1.
It was pretty smooth.
Basically, just what I've heard is they just ran out of time. Like the first movie, basically the sequel was like greenlit, like basically within the first day that it opened, and it was like doing big numbers. Yeah. And like we're doing a sequel. So to turn this movie around within 2 years to like write a new script, film it and everything, and then do all like it's a visual effects heavy movie. So I think they just kind of ran out of time to get it like rendered, and they just kind of have left it. They've never done anything. But it's like...
So basically what they did was took some of the Scorpion King movie, which was coming out, because they ran out to fill in the rest of the gaps.
Yeah. The straight-to-DVD budget on that one.
Man.
Yeah, and so these first two, I've still had them in like really high regard, but that first one, there's just something really special about that first one. Yeah. So I'm going 3.5 for The Mummy Returns, just because I love the franchise. We'll see how the next one goes.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see.
I guess that brings things to a close here.
Another day, another staple.
Anubis day, Anubis staple.
Well, everyone, our only question left is, what's your favorite movie quote from this movie? There's not a lot, so we don't expect you to answer that. But let us know on Instagram at InsideQuotesCast if you have any questions or suggestions. Let us know.
And if you haven't heard, we started a Patreon. We're on Patreon at patreon.com/InsideQuotes. We've got bonus episodes going over there. We're probably due for like a Patreon pick of the month.
We are. Yeah, we could do that. If y'all want to pick The Mummy 3. Oh, man, that'd be so funny.
But yeah, if you join us over there on Patreon for $3 a month, you get bonus episodes, and then you'll have an opportunity to vote on future episodes.
Okay.
You've been doing recipes.
Well, yeah, there really has, when there's a movie that has recipes.
Right, if there's like some like iconic food.
Yeah. We'll see
Jeremy wants to recreate it.
I do. So that'll be cool. We really would appreciate it if you listen to the show at all. I mean, it's $3 a month.
We appreciate the support, and if you join us on Patreon, we'll give you a shout out at the end of the show.
For sure.
Like we're gonna shout out Caleb Keenan here right now, our number one Patreon.
Well, he's our only one right now, but we need 2. That'd be great.
That'd be great. Tell your friends, everybody.
Yeah.
So, Jeremy, is it my turn next week?
It is not. It's And it's also not my turn.
Oh, okay.
It'll be our first patron pick of the month. And there's a lot of pressure on our Patreon. So if you want to vote, sign up.
Caleb's got a lot of power right now. We're going to post the vote out there.
Does. He's going to run this show once a month. He's an executive producer right now.
We'll throw out some options.
If you want to become a patron, become executive producer once a month. That's you.
Whatever the Patreon pick is, here's a clip.
It's not right that that youngster of his can run wild, doing as he pleases without regard to people or property.
He's only a boy, George.
Gonna nut my rope once too often. I can't stand that kid. He's a menace.
Okay, well, our show art was done by Bryce Bridgman, and you can find him on Instagram at GroovyBridge.
And our music was done by Alex Bird.
Also, if you listen to the show and you enjoy it, please write us a review, or just rate it 5 stars if you can. We would really appreciate that. We would love some good feedback on this show, and we would love you to be a part of our community here. So, well, thanks for listening, everybody. We hope you enjoyed listening to us talk about our childhood staples just as much as we have. And if you did, make sure you follow us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify so that you don't miss out on our future episode.
And if you like the show, share it with your friends.
Until next week, we'll see you next time on Inside Quotes.